What's up, everybody? I'm back, and I'm doing kind of a series on what I'm currently reading. And as you can tell right here, I'm reading Sideways, DC's version of Spider-Man. But he's kind of more to me like he's like Spider-Man, but his powers are more like a mix of Spider-Man and Nightcrawler. And the artwork, man, is phenomenal. It's done by Kenneth Rocafort. And if you don't know who that is, look him up. Check out some of his stuff. As you can see, like the covers that he does are awesome, and the interior work is on point. I love the guy doing the work on this. And it's the Sideways is centered around the events after DC's Dark Knight's Metal, and where a bunch of people get superpowers from that event. And you got like Brimstone, Damage, and Sideways is also one of those people. And it centers around Derek James. He's the Sideways character. And why I say it's kind of like Spider-Man is because like he's in high school, he's got these new powers, he's trying to learn how to use them, and it's just like it reminds me of like Spider-Man back when he was in high school, not grown up Peter Parker Spider-Man. I'm talking about Spider-Man in high school. And he's got like his problems, schoolwork, family issues, bullying, stuff like that going on with him. And it's just a great story, man. I mean, just like the stuff that goes on in these books, or it's just like the banter is hilarious. There's only like one person that knows that he has these powers. How he got them was they were him and his mom, or his adoptive mom, Helen, was in. They were in Gotham, and the Dark Knight's Metals event went down, and the ground opened up, and Derek fell through the ground. But instead of falling like to his death, he fell and popped out of a portal on the other side of Gotham, crash landed into the ground, and was unconscious for like a few days until his mom like found him in the hospital. And that's when he discovered he had these powers to open rifts, and that's what he calls them, as rifts. And he can open up basically a portal anywhere that he can think of that he wants to go. So it's like I said, like a Nightcrawler-esque kind of power, because he doesn't just instantly go there, he actually goes through a dimension. And the only person that knows about the power is his friend Ernie, and it's a girl. It's actually a girl. Her name's Ernie. She's in the cosplay, and she's the one that actually designed his suit and made it for him. So like it was kind of funny when I read that part. I was like, wow. So she's in the cosplay and she made the suit for him. Now in issue 2, we come across Tempest. Now the reason that it's like it reminds me of Spider-Man, because when Spider-Man first got his powers, he used those powers to get money and fame when he went and wrestled and fought against Bonesaw, and which led to the events, of his Uncle Ben and all that stuff happening. And but Sideways, in a way, is kind of the same, because he wants to be famous, but on YouTube, basically internet famous, basically. And it's funny because like he starts doing this show that he calls Stepping Out with Sideways, and he's telling people on the internet, hey, name a place and I can instantly get there, and just tell me where you want to go see, and I'll riff there, and I'll show you. And so when he's doing this, he starts hearing a voice, and it ends up being this character in the background, this big head, and this is Tempest. And Tempest is the overseer of the dimension that Sideways actually travels to at times when he's rifting through different places. And Tempest is telling him, hey, you don't know how to use these powers. I don't know how you got them, but you're disrupting the natural order of things, and I'm going to have to kill you. And so, in a Spider-Man-esque way, Sideways is just like, hey, whatever, like, funny haha, cracking a couple jokes, and then Tempest is like, I'm being serious, And so Sideways tries to rift away from him, but he can't open a portal, and Tempest tells him that my staff nullifies your powers. And so when he tells him that, he's like, okay, well, then Sideways just jumps off of this tall building to get away from him and the staff, and he tries to open up a rift on the way down, which kind of reminded me like of a Spider-Man move that Spider-Man would pull off. So, but it's actually a good read in itself. I mean, and Tempest ends up being like at first trying to kill him, and then later on in the series is like, hey, I'm going to mentor you and show you how to use your powers. Now, when he actually uses his powers, he goes to this dimension called the Brain Fold Interior, and that's where Tempest resides, and it's like where multiverse, time and space all collide, and that's what I guess had something to do with the Dark Knight's metal, but that's what he over resides, and that's issue 2. Now, issue 3, we are introduced to this character, which is Killspeed. And Killspeed also gets her powers from the Dark Knight's Metal event. Well, the funny thing about hers is that when she got hers, she had cancer. And so her like little catchphrase is, my speed kills. And what she means by that is like, she like will, she'll kill somebody or do something to harm them or whatever, but when she uses her powers, since she had cancer when she got the powers, it increases the cancer in her body, which is also killing her the same. So basically, the more she uses her powers, the more closer to death that she is. So that's why she says, my speed kills. And her and Sideways get into a little battle. And she's an interesting character, and I think we'll see more of her because in the end of the battle, there's a few scars left, and I think that she'll want to get revenge on Sideways for what happened to her. And but she uses her powers to like, rob and steal and kill people for money, so she can use the money to like prolong her life, basically. And interesting character, though. She's an interesting character. Now, also, in this series, there is a Norman Osborn kind of like character, basically, because Derek's mom, she's Helen, because his mom and his dad are adoptive, so they're not his biological parents. So that's kind of like when I read that part, I was like, okay, wow, so he's got adoptive parents instead of an aunt and an uncle that raised him. He's got adoptive parents. So that's kind of like somewhat like a Spider-Man thing, but it's just like, we kind of stepped a little bit to the side on that one. But there's a Norman Osborn character that the mom works for, and it's Leto Dominus is her name, Leto Dominus, and she knows that he has these powers that were given to him by the dark matter from the dark metal event itself. So she's trying to find a way to exploit that, and I was just like, when I seen that, I was like, wow, that's Norman Osborn right there, but it's a chick, it's a girl, excuse my language, it's a girl. And so that's an interesting thing. And this right here is where he fights Replicant, and Replicant's kind of a lesser known DC villain, where he just like copies your powers or whatever. And it's funny in this because when they fight, he tells Replicant, hey, be careful with those rifts because they're pretty dangerous. And Replicant doesn't pay any mind to him, and ends up paying a big price for it at the end of the fight. And it's kind of like a Spider-Man-esque banter when he was just like, hey, be careful with them things, they're dangerous. And Replicant just, like I said, blew him off like whatever, and then ended up getting his just desserts on that one. But this is a pretty good fight in this one. It's just kind of more of a filler issue, but like I said, the artwork is great in it. And now this one here, this is issue 5 where he fights the Showman. And to me, the Showman is going to be probably one of his best villains in his rogue gallery. Him and Killspeed. Because the Showman, he's also on like social media and stuff, but his power is he gets stronger from the crowd of people that he's around. The more he influences the people, the stronger he gets. So it's like the more like if he's in a crowd and he can get them riled up, the stronger he is. And so like him and Sideways get into a little altercation because the showman brings the fight to him to Sideways' school, to the school, and they fight. And it's like he gets the school kids all riled up behind him, and then like he's beating up Sideways, and Sideways tries to rift out of there, and he's like, "Oh no, you're not pulling that move." And it's just like a great knockdown, drag out fight. And then it's like when Sideways figures out what his power and weakness is, then he uses that towards his advantage. But the showman, I think he'll be back in future episodes or issues. And I know definitely Kill Speed should be because of what happened to her. But like I said, this is a good read. If you're not reading Sideways, go to your local LCS and check it out. It's up to going to be issue 9, I believe, next week. And it's going to be a foil cover. So that's coming out. But yeah, it's going to be... like I've been enjoying this read. Like I said, I'm going to do a series on what I've been reading and what I enjoy about those reads. And this is one that I've been enjoying. And also, kind of a little spoiler alert, there is a symbiotic, not really a symbiote, but like it looks like a symbiote character in this book. And it's like, when I seen that, I was like, no, DC, you didn't. I was like, y'all don't even care anymore. Y'all are just like, hey, we're going to just totally rip you on this one, Marvel. We're taking this too. And yeah, it's hilarious, but it's just like, when I seen that, I was like, no way. Y'all got the Norman Osborn, y'all got the symbiote kind of character, y'all got, you're doing everything almost exactly the same, but different, and it's great. It's enjoyable for me. So, like I said, if you like Spider-Man, back when he was in high school and he had all the problems, and he's learning how to use his powers, and he's learning how to fight, because let me tell you, he doesn't know how to. Sideways has, he doesn't know how to use his powers and fight. And then Tempest mentors him a little bit more, and then he starts to get a grasp on it a little bit better. And you can see that, and it's like, it's like when Spider-Man, he got trained and stuff and learned how to fight better and use his powers. And you can see that in this, and it's like I enjoyed it. So check it out. Like I said, Sideways, DC's Spider-Man / Nightcrawler. You guys have a good one. Enjoyed talking with y'all. And like I said, check out Sideways. It's not a bad book. Pretty good read.